Oof, you're all gonna want to hear this one. This is a good story, and it's true too. So honestly, everything, and I tell you all stories of the past like this, I don't, I don't add nothing in them to make them more entertaining. Like because there's no need to do that. That's what I love about story about these. Now I might be cutting the camera here and then off the put it in scenes. That I only do that because the camera's a little bit messed up, and once it records past a certain time, it becomes a broken file. I can't use it. Yada. Technical difficulty stuff. So, that being said, I hope you all enjoy this story. Now, before I tell a story, let me let you all know science. Science was a cruel subject to me, a very cruel subject. And the reason being is because, well, what I remember, really remember, is like I was worried that I was going to be held back as a senior for for like probably 75%, not 70, that's a big chance, 25% chance, I mean. There's a 75% chance I felt safe, I was going to pass high school. But this little 25%, little quarter of a chance, that it all fell on science. Because I had an F and I had to make it a D. So I made a D minus, and that's how I passed high school. Sheesh. I was holding on by a thread, and it was like science, like, take my hand if you want to live. I tried to take it, and it was like, yeah, psych. Haha, tricked you. You're going to have to climb up yourself there. Use science. I curse you, Bill Nye. Not kidding. But, yeah, so science was never my, you know, strongest mental game, whatever you call it, mental strength. Um, but yeah, so I wanted to say that before the story because this story is about a field trip I had in um, either the fifth or sixth or seventh grade, one of those grades. But so I think I was in middle school. So this is a science trip middle school story, and my mom actually signed up to be one of the group leaders. One of the whatever you call them, parent. Shoot, I forgot the name of that now. Hold on, let me think. I think they call it the student parent caretaker, like that. So yeah, one of the caretakers basically. So there was 6 parents that signed up to do it. So and there was 3 teachers also uh, doing the same thing, or 4. 2 of the teachers were paired up together. I guess it was a student teacher, because we had to split up into groups of 4 or 5, and well, there's see in my group, 3 people were able to get into it because they wanted to be part of my group so bad because this one kid, he's like, now apparently this was my second time my mom came to help with one of the field trips. And the first time, I don't even remember the first time. I still don't remember the first time. But my friend does. Even my mom did remember the first time. She's like, I forgot what we did, but it was more fun than that second time. I'm never doing that again. She's another car ride home. And so my one friend's like, oh, your mom's so funny and fun. You gotta get me in your group, you know. So um, and there's 2 or 3 other people, kids with him, saying the same. And I said, okay, I'll do it. I can. I did nothing. I didn't know what to do. We didn't really have the choice to say. But what they did was they begged the teacher, and that worked. There's other kids that want to be in the group, but they didn't beg the teacher like 3 did. I think that was probably my plan. I doubt it was my plan. Because I remember it like I said, yeah, I'm going to try. Look at that big bug bite. These dang mosquitoes. But I said, yeah, I'll try to do what I can. Next thing you know, I'm sitting there just thinking of a plan, and once I think of nothing, I'm like, well, I did what I can. These 3 kids that want to be in my group are in the group, and then they add 2 other kids that, by random, just because it has to be a group of 4 or 5. And, um, and yeah, we got our groups ready to go, everyone already paid, so they already know. And the thing was about this field trip, it really didn't feel like a field trip because it felt like a homework assignment for the whole day, if anything. Because we had this full sheet, two-sided, one sheet of paper, right? And it had questions, 6 questions on both sides. No, actually, it had 7 questions on the back and 6 questions on the front. Like, yeah, it was a stupid long list of, things you could find out in that science museum. And the idea was like, it was part of the class, we had to get that done. And if we didn't get that done, well, the teacher said we'd get in trouble. Of course, we didn't really get in trouble. But, I mean, in my case, it kind of screwed me over when I really think about it. Trust me, the story gets better as soon as the field trip starts, okay? So we're on the bus, right? And our parents are following behind the bus in their cars. And we get bored and we play the little dare game. What's the little dare game? We dare each other to do a little this and that. Nothing too, crazy, but still really funny at times. And I ended up daring because a week before I found out you can flick people off from the bus, and as long as they don't care, you won't get in trouble. Now you can't because they got cameras all over, I'm pretty sure, but before you could. So I dared my friend to do that, and they were too scared to do that. I'm like, come on, it's not that hard. And I put my finger right up in the window, like just to show them how to do it. And this guy is driving by in a little box car, and he looks at me and he goes, he points at me, and then he points at like the bus driver, and then he points back at me like, I'm gonna tell, with his window down, I'm gonna tell on you, And I'm sitting there and I'm like, holy crap. And then even my friends go, dude, you're gonna get in so much trouble. Your mom's behind us. Like, you are so screwed right now. And this guy floors it to get like I thought he was gonna cut off the bus and make us stop in the middle of the highway on the bridge. Keep in mind, this was like 5th, 6th, 7th grade. I had a little kid brain. What he did was, he just drove off. He just went about his day. He pranked me back. But before he did, I remember I flicked him off a second time like I did. Because I was already in the shit, alright? So let's be honest. I felt like it was already over. So I'm like, if this guy snitches on me, then I'm going to stick to what I believe. Gave him the finger the second time. And that's when he drove off really. I thought he was going to cut off the bus and, stop us. But no, that didn't happen. Well, we continued the dare game. I didn't get dared as much because after that, and I think it was like everyone didn't want to play after that because they got scared of getting in trouble. Like, oh man, that guy's probably going to be waiting at the museum. And I'm like, how would he know? That I had a little kid brain, but I wasn't dumb, I said, how would he know? Like, where we're going? If he did, that's going to be some creepy stuff. I was hoping, they had me thinking, oh man, maybe he's one of the parents. That'd be horrible. Like, and then I really overthought it. I was like, what if he's one of the parents to the cute chicks? Oh crap, I'm screwed, Oh, well of course it was just some random guy that pretended to overreact to make me feel scared and try to stop me from doing that. But as he's seen, I was always a boss. We get to the museum, and I didn't tell you all this, but I didn't really want to bring it up. I thought I was going to leave it out of the story. Like I said, I don't add stuff to the story, but I might leave some little details out so, to protect others' feelings. But I'm going to tell you all like it is. One of the 2 random kids that got put in our group was a snitch. Not only that, but, they were like the kid that everyone was annoyed by. Of course, even us. Being as good person as I was, I had to agree with everyone else on this one. The kid was annoying. It really was. And it was going to suck to have him in our group. So, as soon as we got to the museum, I pulled my mom to the side and told her about this. And she came up with this clever idea where she's like, she told the other teacher, she's like, wait a second, because there was one group that had two teachers. She's like, this ain't, she, in her head, she was thinking this as a competition, like trying to keep it fun for herself. She's like, you know, whichever group finishes the paper first wins. And I think that was part of the deal too with the teachers, you know, the class. If whoever finished the paper first, they get bonus points on their grade. And well, I don't know, maybe my mom knew I needed the bonus points. But yeah, she straight up called them out on that. She's like, you got two teachers in this one group. How is that fair for all the other groups? And I feel like we have too many kids in each group as it is. So the teacher, and that worked really well because the teacher's like, you know what, you're right. All right. She, like, they split off. It was funny too when they split these two teachers apart because this one teacher's like, wait a sec, I don't know if I'm ready for this. You know, the student teacher, and the other teacher's like, oh, you're on your own. I taught you all I could. Good luck, you know, because he ended up having to have his own group with 4 kids. No, we got, and guess what? Of course, we chose the annoying kid to go with him. And the annoying kid actually liked that student teacher, so it was a win-win for everyone at the end of the day. So we have the decision. We could either follow the tour guide, or we could go with our group leader, the parent or the teacher, and, you know, look or try to find the questions as quick as we can. There's only 2 groups that followed the tour guide, right? And of course, one of my groups wasn't them. And it was funny though because my mom's idea was to kind of follow the tour guide but act like we weren't. So we were always, not always, but most of the time we were in the same room with the tour guide. And what I did was, I'd like, you know, after I talked with my friends and whatever, said, oh yeah, that looks nice. I walked over with the tour guide group, and I'd be writing the answers or trying to figure out the answers, even though I couldn't. It was just too difficult for my brain, all the science stuff. And my mom realized this, and she tried cracking jokes at me at first. You know, look at you, the nerdy one. I didn't think you were going to be the smart kid in the class. You know, I thought you'd be the joker or whatever. I'm like, I'm going to fail science if I don't get this done. Like, of course I'm going to be trying hard. But, like, eventually, at the lunchtime, I was like, yeah, even if I tried hard, I'm going to fail this. So I'm just, because I looked down at my notes, I had 2 answers answered on the front. And I didn't even know there was a backside until lunchtime. Someone, like, said, wow, we got to do a front end back in our group. And I looked at the back, I was like, oh, crap, I'm screwed. And I guess my mom realized this. And the 4th person that was randomly put in our group, thank God, was like the smartest one. And they already had half of it done. Like everything that we walked around, because we walked around at all the museum, but we just didn't understand nothing that the paper was asking us. But this one kid that was with us did actually understand it, and as soon as they figured it out, they'd write it down. They just didn't know they had to share, or they didn't know if, like, they probably thought that we didn't care, you know. That's what it came down to, because my mom was like, you know, let's have fun, make sure you all have fun, you know. Even though you have to answer these questions, don't stress too much about that. Which was a good point. It was a field trip. By lunchtime, the teacher, you know, had to remind us, remember, only the first group gets a bonus points. Something changed in my mom's brain right there. Like, you could tell she went from this, like, not caring, chill, laid back, hippie-like person, you know, to almost like a coach. She's like, all right, we got to have a plan. We got to be able to finish this paper before the rest of them. And she's like, right now, while we eat lunch, how about you share half the questions with everyone that you got? And I'm going to go around and ask the teachers and the other parents what kind of questions they got on their, you know, she's like, I'm going to tell them I don't want to feel like the dumbest adult here or something, so I can finish my sheet as fast as I can, and I'll cheat that way, you know. She didn't go look for the answers, but she's going to go ask around for the answers. And it worked for her, except for getting, like, the last 2 questions, because they never found out, all the parents and teachers, except for one group. And then they had the bright idea where it's like, all right, we're gonna send the smart kid, like the random kid that got put in our group, since they were actually doing the best. She's like, you're gonna have to go around and figure the rest of it out, and you're gonna have to do it alone. Or what it happened was like, actually, she said, you're gonna be the leader of the group. Okay, while I'm out, asking the questions. I want you all to stay together, but follow the smart kid. All right. It was a good, solid plan, right? We were we were fifth graders or sixth, and seventh graders, like I said. It might have been a solid plan, but we were still kids. The plan almost didn't work because one one of my friends that got put in the group, they got tired of walking around, and they're like, chill, chill, let's sit down and stuff. So we end up losing track of the smart kid, and then the the person that was able to keep up with the smart kid, well, they ended up getting turned around at the gift shop. they they wanted to check out the gift shop real quick while the smart person was by the gift shop, and next thing they knew, they came out and the smart person was gone, like going as fast as they can through this museum trying to find the answers. so so next thing you know, all right, our group was split up. My mom was with the other groups. Me and my friend was off alone, and then someone else was off alone and another person was off alone. That's how our group split up. And we got worried because we knew we have to turn these papers in as soon as we get to the bus. So if the smart person gets all the questions answered, we still gotta meet up with them afterwards and get our answers, off them. That was a worrisome part. So here's me and my friend, like, we're walking around the museum, but we're taking breaks because they needed the breaks. And I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot of walking, even for me. Like, it was funny because you saw, like, the fat and the skinny kid, like, two tires. Like, it goes to show, we're part of the museum. It don't matter your weight. Don't push your body too hard. That's our exhibit. Sitting on the benches in the middle of the things. But there was some cool stuff there. I'm leaving out all the things you could have seen at the museum. Like they had this one giant tube that created a tornado, and the lightning above it, well, like Tesla lightning, but still, it made it look real cool. Like the museum was like this wasteland and tornado zone. So that's a part where we mostly stayed at because I thought it was cool. But yeah, we searched as hard as we can. It was like the smart kid was on one side of the museum. Me and my friend tried to get to that side, but by the time they were over there, and then the one friend trying to follow the smart friend, they were off on that side of the museum. So we like made a triangle, and luckily my mom doesn't realize till like there's 15 minutes left for the museum. She looks around and she realizes that she can't find none of us. And we meet, like we come out from the bathroom, and my mom's like, "There you guys are." So the rest are in the bathroom, right? They're like, we got some bad news. And so like, what's that called? That movie, what's that movie? Hangover, like the Hangover movie. Like we lost the rest of them. And then once she found out too, we lost the rest of them. She's like, "Oh my God." She's like, "Well, as long as the smart kid's sticking on playing, we should be good. Just have to have faith and good hope." And I'm looking at her like, this is more than good in faith and good hope. We gotta find that smart kid, even if you gotta get on the intercom. Because I gotta get these answers. And we end up finding the third kid that's following the smart kid, and then we're like, "Oh, we found it," And then he's like, "What's the answers?" And he's like, "Well, I only got half of there's still like 4 or 5 answers left." He had to fill out. He lost track of the smart kid. And so we had to find the smart kid. And it was funny because we made it look like we were going through a museum really fast. And at this time, me and my friend, we couldn't take no more breaks because my mom was like, "Nope, keep on going. We'll go find this kid no matter what." But we made it look like whenever the teachers were looking at us weirdly or when we passed the group, my mom pointed at the exhibits like, yeah, you might find the answers here. And then we were like, what are you talking about? You know, it clicked to us. Like, I think she actually had to tell us, she's like, listen, make it look like everything is fine. Because right now it's going smoothly. No one notices that we're a kid missing, you know? And, and it turned out the smart kid, like, he went through the whole museum, but he couldn't find the last answer. So what he did was he stuck with the tour group, and at the end, the tour group had like 4 or 5 groups in it. There was only 2 groups left, you know, going on their own, and still one of my groups was a 1, and we were basically just running around the museum. And yeah, finally we were lining up for the bus, and we got in the back, and the smart kid was thinking about us like, oh, good thing, and he was like, there you guys are. So like, you know, I have some bad news. Couldn't get the last answer, and honestly, um, I was just relieved that, you know, he didn't go missing or something, and I guess I'm pretty sure my mom was too. But yeah, that was a funny. I don't think no group got the last answer, and so what happened was we all got in trouble. Um, so we got back to school, and there was like 30, 40 minutes left, and she's like, our teacher was like, oh, that's perfect, 40 minutes left. That's enough time to watch this movie where you can find all the answers like you should have while you were at the museum. No one had the last answer. It was like impossible. And of course, when we found out what the last answer was, like one kid in the class found out, and we found out there's like no way to find that answer at the museum. So, crazy, right? I told you you had to hear the story. Like, that was some Scooby Doo stuff we went on. But hey, it all had a good ending, you know? Kinda, because that summer I ended up in summer school,